Hey, what's up? How's it going? I'm just here real quick. I'm stopping onto your email real quick, and I just want to show you a quick little overview of Fantasy Labs. So this is the tool that I'm talking about, kind of highlighted a little bit if you've read that guide that I put out there. That first guide that you guys read introduced you to me a little bit. If you haven't been watching the YouTube videos, which I encourage you to, check out that over there. But this is the tool that I use a lot, and it's one of my favorite tools, if not my favorite tool as of right now. And I just want to run you through it so we can look at just NFL. So the good thing about this is there is a paid version, and it is kind of pricey. It's like $60 a month, but there's also an unpaid version. I'll show you both, right? Like I have the paid version. So the paid version is nice because you get these models, right? It puts tons of data in there trying to use predictive analytics, historical data to predict trends of basically, let's say, so you have Jalen Richard tonight on the captain's slate. It's going to take all the types of players from the past that are like Jalen Richard, playing a defense like Denver's this year, and showing you the success. Now that might be a smaller sample size than like on a larger slate where you're just trying to see other players because the captain's slate showdown is a little bit different. But that's like what it's trying to do here, and you can use some of the industry's best guys. You have Jonathan Bales, he's the co-founder of this. Adam Levinson. These are all guys that I'm going to be talking to you about in a future email coming very soon. I want to try and get you guys a list of all of the like guys you should be following on Twitter or other social medias to enhance your game, and girls, you guys and girls. But this is the paid version. This is one of like the only things you really get with the paid version. That's more, but again, it's so good. It shows you who you should be playing. Or who's the most optimal based on historical and past events. It's using data to make your decisions. It kind of takes bias out of certain situations, and I don't think you should rely fully on this if you get the paid version or if you want to test it out. There's like a 15-day or like a 5-day for $10 type thing. It's worth it if you want to check it out. You shouldn't rely just on this, but you should definitely like get your own type of player pool and use this to make any close decisions. Something I haven't used as much, which I'm definitely going to be using next year and into basketball season, is lineup builder. So this is just a way to optimize your lineups. You can build stacks, things like that in there. It's pretty cool. I honestly haven't used it too much. You just put a bunch of players in a pool. You save them from that previous screen we just saw, and then you can put them all in a pool together, and you can build lineups based on their salaries. The most optimal, you could say that you want to have stacks of a quarterback and a running back, stacks of a defense and a running back. Things like that, and it'll build them for you. Next thing, I believe this is free, is the Pro Trends. It just shows you where correlations are. So you can see Antonio Brown at home is pretty good, right? He's averaging more than 2.2 points at home than he does on his other spots. Things like that. It just shows you correlation. It's pretty good. Another way to just make those last-second decisions. Now we get into some of the things that I like the most. So ownership, this is something that's also not free. You can check out past ownership, but to see the most live ownership, you have to get the paid membership. But it's pretty great because, I mean, during the week, so you get to look back, so you can see Zeke for this week 16 of the NFL 2018 season. He was like 50% owned in some higher stakes, 41% owned in the Millie Maker. But during the week, you get to see ownership levels. They're not going to be out right now because it's like early in the week. It's a Monday, but on Wednesdays, ownership levels come out. They use different things. They use a tagging system to see where players names are brought up the most, things like that. And it's very valuable because you can see where you should be fading players, maybe if they're really highly owned, or where really just the whole field is thinking. So you can have this overarching landscape of the field where other people are going and try and get an edge, right? The next one, contest dashboard, another one that I really like. So probably the one I use the most because there's a lot of things you can do in here. You get to see every single person who entered a contest's information. It puts them all into there. So you can see like some guys like Al Smizzle. He does a YouTube as well. He's pretty good with it. He's actually really good with it. You can see where all of his percentages were. He had 55% Robbie Anderson, 41%. It's pretty cool just to evaluate how these guys are playing. The things I like the most are the stack seekers. So you can seek out how many people had a certain stack to see if you're being contrarian or not. And I talk about this in that guide, so you've probably read it already. This is the stack seeker that we've used. If you had the two highest owned guys in week 16, 18% of the field had it. That's a good amount. If you throw a guy like Nick Chubb in there, 3 of the most 5 owned, only 4% had it. So you can see how you can kind of be contrarian just by picking whoever you want, but it is smart to try and find edges elsewhere. These are all things that I've talked about in that guide. So you have salary distribution, how much money people are leaving on the table on any given week. For this week, there's actually a lot of people leaving money on the table just based on the way that you could build, having a lot of value running backs. And then there's just other ways you can get in here and play around with it. That's the main things I use. Correlation, player props. Player props is just their rankings compared to Vegas's rankings. Vegas is a good one. This is a nice dashboard. You get to see all the spreads on one screen. So obviously in fantasy, this helps us to higher total games we want to target more, or they are optimal to target more. spreads for running backs. You don't want to play road huge dogs in most situations, quarterbacks, things like that. It shows you that all in one little screen, which is pretty cool. Lots of other things in here as well for all the other sports, but this was just a quick overview of the tool. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link below.